Hey guys, welcome back to my page. This week's project is an antique hutch that has been passed down in my client's family. Her main goals are to get rid of that orangey wood tone, clean it up a bit, make it a little more modern, but also keeping that charm. As you can see, this piece has been well loved, has lived a long life, and I can't wait to get into this project and get it freshened up for our client. When working with antiques that have paint, the first thing I do is a lead test swab. You put the little swab into vinegar and then you rub it on the paint for like 30 seconds and it'll change color if there is lead detected. Luckily for us, there was no lead this time, but it's always a good idea to do those tests when working with antiques that are painted, especially painted white. The hinges were a little rough to work with, but I finally got those off. And then first thing I wanted to do is get in there with the stripper. Y'all know I love to strip furniture. If you are wanting more information and details on how I strip furniture, I do have a video just for that, and I will link that on here for you. While the stripper was working, I wrestled with the knobs on the drawers. They had a little bit of rust, they had some paint on there, so they were not the easiest to get off, but I did it. I went ahead and after about 15 minutes tested the area. I did not have success with stripping. Sometimes, depending on the finish, chemical stripper just doesn't work, especially if they're old finishes. So while 99% of the time stripper does work for me, there is that 1% of time that it just doesn't. And unfortunately, that just happens. But I did want to get the paint out of the drawers. The plan was to remove all the paint, sand it down, and just leave it wood inside. So that's what I'm doing here, is just stripping it down. You can see that orange paint that's under the white coming through as the stripper begins to work. Plan B, since the stripper didn't work, was to just go straight to my sander. I am using the Surf Prep 3x4 electric ray. This is a great product. I use it on flat surfaces and on curves, but it has no problem working through just about any finish. So if you are not a fan of using chemical strippers at all and just want to go straight with the sander, a Surf Prep sander is definitely a good way to go. I sanded everything with an 80 grit to remove that original finish, and then I went with a 120 and then a 220. It's always good to graduate those grits as you are working, and it's just going to give you the smoothest surface possible. I am using a water-based gel stain from Dixie Belle Paints. This is in the color Tobacco Road. I love it. I've used it on multiple projects. It always looks good, especially when working on antiques, because it's going to give you that rustic vibe, but also it's going to be a little more modern. So I really enjoy this color a lot. Another thing to keep in mind about using this water-based gel stain is that I did not have to use a paint wash beforehand. So typically when I'm trying to remove the orange tone from wood, I will do like a tan paint wash. It was not necessary with this piece and using the Voodoo Gel Stain by Dixie Belle. Again, this color is Tobacco Road, and you can see just that natural aged wood tone that I'm getting without any kind of orange coming through. So I love that. It totally eliminated the step of doing a paint wash. Now, of course, you can do a paint wash, and it's going to give you kind of a lighter tone, and you can play around with that, but it's not necessary, and I really love that. So I wanted to make sure I pointed that out to y'all. You might be wondering why I'm using a sock to apply the stain, and I don't know, with gel stain, it is something that works for me. They do have applicators out there that are wonderful products as well. So you can use those, you can use a sock. You just kind of have to find what works for you. But if you have holey socks laying around that you need to get rid of, this is a really great option to reuse those or repurpose those. So the drawers that I stripped the paint out of, they just weren't in great condition. I could not get that orange paint out of there, so I did talk to the client and she was cool with them being painted back white, so I used a paint that I had on hand. I just felt like this was a good option, even though I typically do not do that. You just gotta roll with the punches sometimes, you know? After everything was stained, I grabbed my Wagner Flexio 5000 and my General Finishes High Performance Top Coat and started top coating everything. So typically I do not spray the hinges, but on this project I am, because I cleaned all of the hardware in the hinges and they were just kind of a mottled looking old gray, and so to brighten them up I used a spray paint and then a glaze over it to age it a bit, so I wanted to also seal that glaze on there. On the inside shelving, I used a finishing wax, so I apply it and then I go back and I buff it, and it is so smooth. Like, it is crazy how smooth and now waterproof it is. You know we're at the finish line when the tape starts coming off, so stay tuned. The before and afters are coming up so soon. And for any ladies out there that do not want to wait for their husband or partner to help them lift something heavy, I highly suggest a hydraulic lift table. This thing has been a lifesaver because Lord knows I am not patient. Now, before the big reveal, let's take a look back at where we started. And here she is, beautiful, more modern and updated, yet still carrying that antique charm. Overall, if you break it down, I only did two major things. I changed the stain color and I changed the color of the original hardware. So while this makeover is very subtle, it just goes to show that you don't have to change everything to change everything. This is exactly what this piece needed. This is exactly what the client wanted. And now it just looks more authentic, to me at least. That warm brown tone gives it so much more of a classic aged look and really suits the piece. Here are some still shot photos of this piece. I am here for all the comments, so please let me know what you think. If you love it, you hate it, you would have done something differently, if I should have tried something differently, I want to hear all of it. If you hate that this video is in the vertical format instead of the widescreen format, let me know. It's fine. I don't like it either. I'm going to be getting another camera soon, and it just makes sense right now in my business to do it this way. So sorry, not sorry. It'll change eventually. But anyways, let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching.